Welcome back to Buy or Sell, the series where you pitch me your predictions for the theme park world, and I either buy or sell them and explain why. If you want your idea considered for the next video, leave a comment below starting with buy or sell. In this episode, we look at the future of Busch Gardens Scorpion, what Lost Island's new RMC Raptor will do for business, and what to make of the rumors that Kingda Ka may close at the end of 2025. This is Buy or Sell, episode 34. Let's start with Land & Sports World. Lagoon gets a new coaster within 5 years. Ever since the turn of the century, Lagoon has been pretty good about adding new coasters. 2003, 2005, 2007, 2011, 2015, and they tried to get Primordial open a lot sooner than 2023, so that 8-year gap isn't really an 8-year gap. They poured a ton of money into this coaster. From that fake mountain to the whole shooting dark ride feature, this was a big elaborate project and one they'll want to ride for a long time. They were going 4 to 5 years between coasters before, so do they do the same now? This is a very tough call, but I'm gonna buy it. I don't think they'd rest on Primordial for that long. If you're giving me 5 more years, plus the fact Primordial is already 1 year old, I bet they add something new. How big or good the coaster will be, we'll see. But given how family-friendly Primordial is, I bet it's something thrilling. Pickle Jarred. Gene Staples saves Scorpion at Busch Gardens Tampa. Gene Staples has 3 parks in his portfolio: Indiana Beach, Niagara Amusement Park, and Clementon. Since he started collecting parks in 2020, he's been the man when it comes to buying old coasters. He saved Chimera from Mexico, also got Cyclone and the Schwarzkopf Shuttle Loop from Mexico. And here you have a very good, albeit old Schwarzkopf Looper, right here in the USA, closing down and primed for a new home. Why wouldn't he do it, unless the ride can't be salvaged for some reason? I'm buying this. It wouldn't be a good fit at Indiana Beach, but Niagara and Clementon could absolutely use this coaster. The Coaster Adventure. One of the top tier Cedar Fair parks will get an Intamin in the next 10 years. Cedar Fair has been trying to avoid Intamin over the past, 14 years. I-305 was their last new Intamin coaster, and that's really no surprise. That was a mess from the start, needing trims, a reprofile, and it's never been popular with the general public. After that, you start seeing problems with Shoot the Rapids, Volcano, Top Thrill Dragster. But that was then, and this is now. Cedar Fair doesn't exist anymore. But their old CEO is now the new Six Flags CEO, so it makes me think they may still shun Intamin. But if you look around the world, Intamin has been doing great work for Universal and some parks in Europe, and Six Flags New England is getting a new Intamin coaster next year. Granted, that was planned under the old ownership, but I think the Cedar Fair parks will be in play. Still, I don't think it'll lead to a new Intamin for one of the big Cedar Fair parks. I'm selling this. Cedar Point, Kings Island, Carowinds, Canada's Wonderland. If you're thinking something like a Blitz, only Kings Island has a shot at that. A hot racer has bad capacity and wouldn't be good for any of these parks. They all already have hypers. The best bet is a family launch coaster, something like Quantum Accelerator, but I think this is more likely for a lower tier Cedar Fair park. Something like Valley Fair. I don't think it would be a good fit at any of the major parks, except maybe Cedar Point. Pipe Picasso. To make up for Top Thrill 2, Zamperla will build a discount coaster for Cedar Point. He also mentions how this has happened before, that being between Aerodynamics and Kings Island. The Bat was such a disaster, and they turned around and gave them Vortex in the same plot, and that had a solid 33 seasons at the park. If Top Thrill 2 fails, I can't see this happening for Cedar Point, so I'm buying it. That is a big if, and I'm still in the camp that says it won't be a total waste. But in the case it does, Cedar Point takes them up on the offer. They use Zamperla to build Wild Mouse. They have coasters in their catalog that could be intriguing, but I would be surprised if they scrap Top Thrill 2 and put in, say, a Lightning Launch coaster here. Actually, I'd be surprised if Cedar Point got this gift. I bet, if anything, it would go to another park in the new Six Flags chain. Maybe Kings Island gets the Lightning Launch. Maybe Magic Mountain gets a spinning Wild Mouse. Maybe something off the board, I don't know, but Zamperla is a reputable company and I can't see this happening. Maxwell Alvarez. By 2027, Kong at Discovery Kingdom will either get new trains, new track, or be removed. Kong opened back in 1998, bought secondhand from Opryland, and it's a joke even inside the Six Flags circles. There was actually a social media post mocking its smoothness. Discovery Kingdom is in a weird spot. They do get new additions, but nothing major, so the chain does care about this place, but not as much as it could. Then you look at what they just did for Six Flags America, a park much lower on the totem pole, retheming and giving new trains to their SLC, and it makes me want to buy this for Discovery Kingdom and Kong. I doubt it'll get retracked, I doubt it'll be removed, but new trains in a repaint, sure. That seems logical for a park like this. Jumpin' Jack Flash. Per the recent rumors, Kingda Ka will close at the end of 2025. There are so many angles of this rumor and I don't know what to make of it. They really pull me one way, then the other way, so let's dig in to see what's really going on. Even before this rumor, I thought Kingda Ka might be on borrowed time. Obviously, Top Thrill Dragster had his share of problems. There's no reason to believe Kingda Ka is any less problematic. This is very expensive to operate, and it may be tempting to shut it down and try to save money. But if you consider the huge project they'd have to buy to replace it, you're talking about $30 to $50 million. There's even a rumor that Green Lantern may be gone also, and that would open a huge plot of land, and it's hard to believe that would be used for anything but a giga. In this day and age, you're not getting any kind of giga for less than $30 million, and even if the new Six Flags chain sees Great Adventure as a new favorite park, that's a lot of money to spend and try to make up. But remember, Richard Zimmerman of Cedar Fair is a new Six Flags CEO, and he's never had a park this big and in this great of a metropolitan area. Dorney is nearby, but that's small, and Knott's is near LA, but that doesn't have much room to expand either. So maybe he's looking at the enormous Great Adventure, serving the New York Metro, and wants to make this park a destination. Maybe he's also done with intamin stratas, and doesn't want another Top Thrill headache on his hands. Then you consider Top Thrill 2 and Zamperla's work to fix it. Kingda Ka's fate may come down to how Top Thrill performs in 2025. Did Zamperla come up with a way to fix all of its problems? If so, maybe they save Kingda Ka but make it a swing launch. On the other hand, will Zamperla fail and the ride can't reopen? If so, maybe Kingda Ka is scrapped for a new giga. This would be a great fit for the park. Surely, it would be from B&M since they're Cedar Fair's manufacturer of choice. Nitro is on the other side of the park and is airtime based. This would be low to the ground and based on speed. But you also have to consider, if Kingda Ka gets removed, that's also bye-bye to Zumanjaro. They'd be losing 2 rides, including the world's tallest drop tower. In the end, I'm selling this. They probably mull it over, but in the end, it stays. The most extreme thing to happen will be the Top Thrill 2 treatment if Zamperla hammers down all the problems this year. I don't have a lot of confidence in this, and this is one of the most interesting stories to follow this coming year. Ethan. Iowa's Adventureland will add a large new coaster to replace Raging River. A lot of you might remember what happened on Raging River back in 2021. A boat tipping over and caused the death of an 11-year-old boy, and that was the end of that ride. This was in its own section of the park, crossing over the river to get there, so you have this giant plot of land that's open for use. Adventureland doesn't look like it has a lot of room to expand. For Flying Viking, they had to remove 3 flat rides to make way, and they have also shown the desire to build up their coaster lineup, opening 4 coasters in a 7-year span. That started with Monster, that was super extreme. Then Phoenix, more family friendly. Then Dragon Slayer, more on the extreme side, and then Flying Viking for families. They announced Raging River would not reopen right around the time Flying Viking opened, so you would think at this point they're primed for a new thrill coaster, and they have this amazing plot of land to do it, so I'm buying this. There's no timeline set for this question, but I would think it would happen in the next 3 to 5 years. This park can really use a launch coaster. Something like a compact Vekoma Top Gun would be a perfect fit right here. Mike Folkrod. Fire Runner boosts Lost Island's attendance and quiets the rumors of doom and gloom. We just got done with Iowa's biggest park. Now we got Iowa's best up-and-coming park, opening in 2022, and so far it's been a struggle. They got their Star Coaster up and running for Season 2 in 2023, and tried to ride that tide in 2024. But now, it's time for something new to bring in more people, and they announced the RMC Raptor Fire Runner. This is a clone of Stunt Pilot at Silverwood, pretty much the Raptor prototype, just having a few tweaks, and this will have 12-car trains, not the 8 of the originals, or the 10 of Stunt Pilot. I'm not sure how that's going to affect a ride. Hopefully, it doesn't slow it down. But this isn't about how good Fire Runner is going to be. It's about the coaster changing the park's reputation, and I'm buying this. Here's why. Everyone likes to point to its location in Waterloo, Iowa, and say it's too remote. Others that are closer to the situation say its location is fine, and its water park is doing great. The real problem is advertising. I guess they haven't done a great job getting word out that this park is out there. Fire Runner gives them a perfect chance to reignite their marketing department. Come ride this awesome looking extreme single rail coaster. Get those people into the park, and they'll probably love it just like we did when we went in 2023. It's gonna cost money, but I think it needs to be done. If attendance is still slow despite a new marketable coaster and a strong ad campaign, maybe then it's time to hit the panic button. Michael Carter. Wild Beast at Canada's Wonderland gets the Grizzly treatment in the next couple years. Let's face it, Canada's Wonderland is not removing Wild Beast. Also, they're not gonna RMC it. It's also one of the most savagely brutal coasters I've ever ridden, and that was for my ride from last year. I also realized the ride is pretty dang good underneath all that pain, so a retrack would be the perfect solution for this coaster. I'm buying this. Gravity Group has been doing wonders for old wooden coasters, including on King's Dominion's Grizzly, and when I last rode that in 2022, it felt like I was in a nasty bus crash. Apparently now it's running better than ever, so if Cedar Fair, or now Six Flags, sees that transformation happen in their own chain, there's no reason not to bring on Gravity Group and do their magic. I honestly would love to see a smooth wild beast. It actually impressed me with its forces, and I did not expect that. Golden Oreos 254. The old Vekoma Flying Dutchman models will go defunct in the next decade. We keep coming back to this question, and the circumstances keep changing. Before, we had one Dutchman at a Six Flags park, Batwing, and one at a Cedar Fair park, Nighthawk. After Kings Island shut down Firehawk, that gave Cedar Fair extra parts to help Nighthawk. Six Flags America probably wants to keep Batwing around, especially since they never get new coasters and don't want to take anything away, but they didn't have the spare parts Cedar Fair had. Now, they're one big happy family, and that's a game changer. Carowinds is one of the chain's favorite parks, and therefore much more likely to axe a problematic coaster and replace it with a new one. I think this does happen in the next decade, but Batwing just got new life with this merger. Not only will it have access to Firehawk's parts, it'll have access to Nighthawk's parts, so I'm selling this. We lose one Dutchman, but 10 years down the line, Batwing is still there. Hurricane G Productions. Wrath of Rakshasa becomes a top 3 coaster at Great America. This 180-foot B&M dive is opening next year, and this park is super stacked. It's gonna have a hard time breaking into the top 3, but let's see where it lands. It has a polarizing top 2. Raging Bull is either in your top tier of B&M hypers, or in your bottom tier. Personally, I love it. Goliath is very short but packs a huge punch, but I definitely put this on the lower tier of RMCs. But you know what they say, or at least what I say. Even a weak RMC is a top 100 coaster. So, can this dive coaster actually be number 3 in the park? I think it definitely can, but it could also drop as low as 6. I personally love Viper, and I think that's going to stay number 3 for me, so I'm selling this. You may also like X-Flight better, and you also got Max Force. I personally think Wrath will outrank those, but I like the top 3 they have and don't think it'll break in. Roller Review. Dollywood's next coaster will be some kind of Vekoma thrill coaster. It seems like over the last 5 years, Dollywood has fallen in love with Vekoma. Dragonflyer, Big Bear Mountain. These are great, ultra-smooth, family-style coasters, dominating Wildwood Grove. And as far as I can tell, they've been very successful. Why Dollywood wouldn't go back to Vekoma for their next big project, I have no idea. I'm buying this. They have that hyper model locked and loaded, and that's something that would be great at Dollywood. But if you want to play it safer, any of their launch looping models would also be a great fit. They don't have an extreme launch coaster anymore, and if they took a ride like Big Bear Mountain and gave it some inversions and made it faster and more extreme, that would be a big hit. At this point, I'd be surprised if they went with anyone else for their next big coaster. Danny Miller. Silver Dollar City gets a new thrill coaster in the next 5 years. Silver Dollar City is one of those Herschend parks that gets massive investment. This is one of the great theme parks in the country. It costs a lot to get in, but you're paying for quality and you get it. Awesome theming, awesome atmosphere, awesome rides. Time Traveler was their last major coaster and that came back in 2018. And since then, they've poured $53 million into 2 other attractions. First, Mystic River Falls in 2020 and the new Fire in the Hole in 2024. That is a coaster, but it's more of a dark ride and very family oriented. You give me a timeline of 5 years from now, we're talking about 2029. That's 11 years after Time Traveler, and I'm buying that. It seems like they'll announce something new for 2026, and then again for 2028 or 2029. The chances that one of those announcements is for a new coaster is very high. This park is great, but doesn't have a deep lineup of coasters, so there are so many great options. A hyper, a suspended thrill coaster, a launch looper, maybe from Vekoma, maybe something with a swing launch like Pantheon. It could even be a launch B&M wing. Silver Dollar City is definitely an exciting park to keep your eye on. That's a wrap on episode 34. Let me know what you think of any of these topics, if you agree or disagree, and why. Also, don't forget, if you want your idea considered for the next video, leave it in the comments below, starting with buy or sell. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters, please give me a sub. I have a playlist with all the buy or sell episodes. Also, check out my second channel, where I post copyright-free off-ride footage. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.